A few days ago, Upwork just shipped 75 new features in their summer of 2025 update. I've gone through all of the articles and tested out all these features in my client account, freelancer account, and agency account, so you don't have to. So in this video, I want to break down the 10 features that actually have the largest impact on you and go over what you need to do to adapt to each of them. Now, it's important to note before we really dive in here that a lot of these features are in beta testing, which means your account might not have access to some of these features. Now, the really unique position that I'm in is that I run 2 Upwork communities that have a total of almost 23,000 freelancers. And so a lot of these, updates in beta testing, my account might not have access to, but I've been able to see what these features actually look like by talking to our members. And so with that being said, let's dive in. Number 1 is that Upwork clients can now use Uma, which is Upwork's mindful AI, to do the interviews for them. Which means for some of you, when you go to apply to a job, you might see a screen that looks like this, which is basically prompting you to skip the actual proposal submission process and instead hop on a call with Uma, which is again Upwork's mindful AI, and go through an interview. Now basically on the client side, they get to select the questions that they want Uma to ask you. Now this is super weird, very, very weird. This is one of the features in beta testing right now, so it's very likely that you won't have the option inside your freelancer or client accounts. I don't have the option in either of my accounts, but one of our members did. And again, feature is super, super weird. I don't see this being adapted by all of Upwork. I don't see Upwork actually pushing this out to everybody because I just don't think most clients are going to want to outsource the interview process. I don't think clients want to have a robot doing the interviewing for them. I think clients, myself included, want to actually be talking to the freelancers themselves before we hire them. But regardless, that's feature number 1. The second feature, which is not in beta testing, this is available for everybody, is that now when you submit a proposal, you're able to edit that proposal within 6 hours of sending it. And so if you submit a proposal and the client has not viewed it yet, you can edit pretty much everything about that proposal. You can edit the actual proposal itself. You can edit, do you want a rate increase? And if so, how much? You can edit your hourly rate that you bid at, right? You can edit all of those things besides the boosting, right? You can't edit, the way or if you boosted your proposal, but everything else you can edit. Now, I will say if the client has viewed your proposal already, then you're not gonna be able to edit the proposal. You'll still be able to edit the price, right? Your hourly rate, or if you want a rate increase, you'll be able to edit those settings, but you won't be able to edit the actual proposal itself. Now, this isn't a huge change, but it is a pretty convenient one and a pretty nice one for us, right? I know even myself, I've written proposals, and then as soon as I press send, I realize that I may have made a spelling mistake or phrased something not the way I wanted to phrase it or whatever. And now it's just really convenient that we can go back in and edit the proposal really seamlessly, right? So again, not a huge change here. Other application, if you wanted to submit a proposal using your specialized profile, but you accidentally submitted it using your general profile, that's another thing Upwork will allow you to edit when you go back in there. So again, not a big change, but super convenient for us. Number 3 is that Upwork is now sending out automatic invitations to freelancers on behalf of clients who post featured jobs. Now, if you don't know what this is, basically, when a client is posting a job on Upwork, at the very end, as soon as they're about to hit post, they can pay $30 for Upwork to feature their job post. And you've all seen what this looks like, right? When jobs have that little ribbon that says featured. Now, what Upwork is now doing, and this is another feature in beta testing for clients, is that when a client chooses to feature a job post, Upwork is going to send out a bunch of invitations, right, automatically to freelancers or agencies that they think are going to be a good fit for that specific job. So one of our members received an invitation a couple days ago that seemed really weird. It didn't seem like a client had written it. He thought it might have been a scam. He just wasn't really sure. It sounded weird, right? And this is what it says. Good news. You're invited to apply to a job on Upwork that looks like a great match for your skills, experience, and work requirements. Based on what this client needs for the growth hacker for B2B SaaS business, build partner technology job, we think you'd make a great team. Now, obviously that doesn't really sound like a client wrote that invitation, right? Now, what this is again, it's Upwork sending out automatic invitations. So it's still a very real invitation and you still should accept it, right? But if you get a couple weird invites that sound a little strange, again, my advice would just be to accept it, send the proposal, and see what happens. Upwork updated the client's point of view when they're posting a job. So after a client posts a job, they get then prompted to invite freelancers to apply to that job. That part's still the same. But they added in a button that makes it way more easy and way more obvious for clients to filter by freelancers who are available now, which just means they have the availability badge on. I don't have any data to support what I'm about to say yet, because the change just came out, but I've turned on my availability badge, and I'd recommend you do the same. It's probably gonna give you a pretty good boost in terms of invitations. Now, feature number 5 is also in beta testing, but it is super, super important that you understand the implications this feature has. So, Upwork just launched something called Upwork Meetings, which basically is, just like it sounds, Upwork is now hosting meetings themselves instead of sending people to Zoom. Again, this is in beta testing. And even if you see this inside your account, you should still have the option to select a Zoom meeting. So when you go in the top right corner of your chat and select create a call, you should have those options of Upwork Meeting and Zoom Meeting. Some of you won't have the Upwork Meeting yet because again, it's in beta testing. But basically what this is Upwork is gonna host the meeting themselves, they're gonna record it and they're gonna transcribe it. And so if you are meeting clients on Upwork and then trying to bill them outside of Upwork, right? So maybe you get on the Upwork call and you ask them, hey, what's your email so I can bill you outside of Upwork, right? Don't do that on these Upwork meetings because these will be transcribed, and although I don't know this, I can say with a pretty fair amount of certainty that Upwork is gonna be analyzing those transcriptions and they're gonna be, scanning for things like I just said, right? People trying to take payment off platform or breaking their terms of service. So again, if you are gonna meet people on Upwork and then bill them outside of Upwork, just don't do it on the Upwork meetings. Feature number 6 is that Upwork now made it a lot easier for you to report clients breaking their terms of service and report their bad feedback. And so if you get stuck with a client and they break Upwork's terms of service and then they leave you a bad review, you can now report those reviews way easier. So previously you'd have to contact support, create a ticket, then go back and forth with somebody on email, and it's just kind of a headache. Now, if you hover over your job success score and you click on the little link that pops up that says job success score insights, you'll be taken to a page where you get a lot of information about basically how Upwork calculates the job success score. And if you've received a bad review, you should have a button to be able to report that bad review to Upwork. And again, this process is only relevant for people who have gotten a bad review. If you haven't gotten one, not relevant. But hopefully if you do get a bad review, this makes the process a whole lot simpler and cleaner, and you're able to get that bad review removed if that client did break Upwork's terms of service. Now, feature number 7 is a really interesting one, and it's actually been top of mind a lot for me lately because we've been talking about boosting your profile a lot during the Q&A calls for my community. And one of the new features is that when you are boosting your profile, you now will also show up on the client's dashboard. So a couple days ago, I posted a UX UI design job on Upwork, and if I scroll down a little bit, I can see that now there are freelancers who are boosting their profile who are showing up. And Upwork is basically recommending me all of these different UX UI designers to invite to the job that I just posted. This is really, really interesting. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I think it'll just be really interesting to see how this affects and impacts the ROI you get from boosting your profile, right? It'll be really interesting. I don't know if clients will be likely to just kind of click on these little profiles. Again, they are pretty small, so they don't give a ton of information to clients, but who knows, right? I didn't click on any of them, but that doesn't mean other clients won't. Now, changes number 8 and number 9 are that there are a bunch of updates to the Freelancer Plus membership. So 8 is going to be, they updated the insights page. So after you submit a proposal, you now get this big kind of chunk of data that tells you how many other proposals were submitted to it, how many shortlisted, how many were, proposals were opened, how many proposals have been unopened. And they used to give you this data with Freelancer Plus as well, but now they're displaying it in a slightly different way and you get access to even more data. So you can see here, the average person who submitted a proposal to this job has earned $62,000 on Upwork. They've done 95 jobs and they've been on Upwork for 4 years, right? And you can also see there's some other stats about their job success scores. Now, is this cool? Yeah, sure, kind of cool. Does it make Freelancer Plus worth it? No, not at all, right? I have said this before, I'll say it again. I don't think Freelancer Plus is worth it. I just have it so I can show you guys what it looks like. And really, if we think about it, none of this data is going to change our decision making, right? If I now know that the average person who submitted a proposal to this job has earned $60,000 on Upwork. Is that gonna change my behavior? No, not at all, right? So it's just kind of, in my opinion, useless information. Now, some of the other updates that the Freelancer Plus membership got is that now instead of 80 connects per month, you now get 100. Like I just said, that still doesn't make it worth it. At the end of the day, the Freelancer Plus membership is $19.99 each a month, and it comes with 100 connects, and that's the main benefit. And so it still makes more financial sense to just buy your connects from Upwork, unless you want some of these other benefits that the Freelancer Plus membership now comes with. Other ones are full access to Uma. I personally don't really use Uma anyway. I already have proposal templates that work really well, and so I just use those, and then I personalize them a little bit. So there's not really any use case for Uma, although I suppose if English isn't your first language, you could use Uma to kind of correct your proposals and check some of the grammar and the spelling and all that stuff. Or you can just use Grammarly, which is free, right? So at the end of the day, Freelancer Plus got a bunch of upgrades, but is it still worth it? Probably not. And change number 10 only impacts people in 6 different countries, but it is still a big change for people in those 6 countries. So if you are in the UAE, Serbia, Uruguay, Norway, Costa Rica, or Saudi Arabia, you can now get payouts in your local currency with Payoneer. So there you have it. Those are the 10 most important, most impactful changes and features that Upwork just launched during this update. Again, you probably won't have access to all of these features as a lot of them are in beta testing, but if you come across a feature in your account, you're not sure what it is, you want to know more, drop a comment down below this video and I'd be more than happy to help you out. And maybe if there's enough comments with a certain feature, I'll make a full other video going through that specific feature. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to watch more videos on how to succeed and land high paying clients on Upwork, subscribe to my YouTube channel, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.